one of the songs from that. It's called The Enemy. Thanks, everybody. See if I can find a picture of it. Way back when Chuck Biscuits and Randy Rampage and myself, we formed DOA like about February 1978, and I'd just come back from Toronto. I was living there with a band called The Skulls. And so we were practicing, and you made the story about how we got our name. This is like a funny one, but everybody used to practice in the punk scene. Not everybody. Trooper didn't practice there. Brian Adams didn't practice there, but all the punks did. 343 Railway on the waterfront. It was an old warehouse that was a complete fire trap, and but there'd be like a party going every night. People lived there, sort of like an artist type thing, and so anyways, we were practicing there. We formed. I put an ad in Georgia Strait. Need a drummer, right? So Randy Rampage came along, and his drumming was okay, but not really great. And so I said, okay, you know what? I can teach this guy rhythm. I'll teach this guy how to play bass. And became a good bass player, right? And I found Chuck Biscuits, who was like Dimwit's little brother, and he was like, when we started, I guess I was 20, Randy was 17, and Chuck was like 15. And we're practicing in this warehouse, and people would come and party and drink and then fuck off and then come back or whatever, right? And we're working away. We know about like 5, 6, 7 songs, maybe something like that. And this guy walks in, and he's got a girl on each arm, and he's got a bottle of whiskey he's holding, right? And he comes in, and he's sort of hanging out watching us play, and goes, you guys are pretty fucking good. It's good, right? So, I know we had all 10 practices or something like that, right? So, this guy obviously wasn't a Simon Cowell type, right? So that wasn't too discerning. And he said, I'll tell you what, you guys be the band, I'll be the singer, we'll call it DOA, and we'll make $1 million. Well, we didn't know shit from China in those days, and we kind of looked at each other, we held our breath for about 30 seconds, and went like, that sounds like a good plan. Okay, let's do it, right? That was our agreement, right? That's how DOA started. The guy's name was Harry Mitchelson, but his stage name was Harry Homo. And so we played a show at the Japanese Hall, which is the original home of Vancouver punk rock, and soon to be followed by the Smiling Buddha. And poor Harry was the nicest guy, but he had this peculiar habit of, he had no sense of timing, right? Kind of like I got rhythm, he would come in 2 bars too late, 1 beat too early, a beat and a half too far along, right? It was like, I would go, Harry, you just can't sing. He says, I know, I tried. And, but you guys keep the name and good luck. So that's kind of how we got going. So we carried on. I became a singer, and then I was a guitar player, obviously. And then we thought, okay, we came to a sad realization one night after practice. We're having a beer. We came on 3 basic truisms about our band and about ourselves as people. So we thought that truism number one was that everybody hates us. Number two was, no way will support us. Number three is, we'll never get a record deal in our fucking lives, right? So, and you know, so we were kind of glum, we were sitting there, well, what would we do, right? You know, because we wanted to get out there and rock, right? And cause trouble and that kind of thing. And so I said, well, you know, I used to go to the Simon Fraser University, and I saw this band there a bunch of times, and we called the Pied Pumpkin String Ensemble with Sherry Ulrich, Joe Mock, and Rick Scott, a great band. And they put out their own album. And they were selling like crazy at shows, like the 12-inch album, their first album. And you know, if they could do it, this was this real act of DIY that you could do it yourself, right? So we ended up saved up some money, and we went into the old Ocean Sound, same place where we recorded the Sunbury Change. But we did this entire session, a 4-song EP called Disco Sucks, the 4-song 7-inch EP. Everything was done in 9 hours, including about 3 hours in, I realized that I hadn't finished the lyrics on 3 of the songs. So I said, oh shit, I've been mumbling the same lines over and over again in practice. I said, just take a break for 15 minutes, right? Grab a beer. And so I jotted down, okay, no, dude, let's do it. Okay, turn on the tape, let's go, right? So, and that was this little EP that we made. And we were so enthused about getting this back from the pressing plant. We had 500 copies made, this little 7-inch. And then we got the covers printed at this printing place, which sadly I don't think we ever paid the entire bill. The guy's still looking for me, right? You're not here, are you? Okay, all right, I'm okay so far. Anyways, but if you see the original pressing, you can tell it's the original one because the ink was still wet on the cover, and we were folding them over and putting in plastic bags so you can see my thumbprints, my fingerprints all over it, right? So it's just like, wow, we've got a fucking single, I can't believe it, man, we're going to the top! That kind of thing. You know, we're like, yeah, like I said, we're like 15 to 20 years old in that range, right? So, but anyways, I knew that when the EP came out, we started mailing it around, right? And, you know, we sent it to London, New York, Toronto, Los Angeles, you know, to like clubs or magazines or college radio stations and stuff like that. And so, but I really knew that we were like on top of something good, because one night I was watching television, it was late at night, and there was this a news story about, I'm looking for a cover of Disco Sucks. There it is. That's right, 2 different versions, right? This is the one, the original one. That was my, that's a stretcher, and underneath there is a blanket, and that's my first wife. She's still alive, don't get me wrong. But, and then the guy, the record company says, we need something more cutesy, so we got the photos up there, right? So this will have more appeal to the girls, guys, this will work, right? You know, something like that, anyways. So, but then I saw this news story on ABC television, and what it was this disco thing had happened, right? You know, I can remember at the time, this is 1978, the biggest music was like disco, and there were bands like, Fleetwood Mac was huge, Pablo Cruz. I mean, you know, when you walked around the street, you heard this music. They should have been issuing bark bags on every corner so you could upchuck it, you know, with the type of music they were playing. You know, and rock and roll was pretty dead, right? So, but at Comiskey Park, where the Chicago White Sox play on the south side of Chicago, this fabulous old DJ by the name of Dr. Demento. Anybody remember Dr. Demento? Yeah, he was one of the only hip guys around. He'd play something that would play something different, right? And, so he had this anti-disco rally at a doubleheader at the White Sox game, so in between games. So what they did on the pitcher's mound, they bought all like disco records and paraphernalia, disco outfits, clothes, and whatever you could think of, and they burned it on the pitcher's mound at Comiskey Park, right? And Dr. Demento was on the PA system going, burn, baby, burn, disco and burn, oh, burn, baby, burn, that kind of thing, right? And, people were having such a good time that once that was done, they decided to act like Vancouverites. They had a riot and tore the stadium apart, right? So, I don't know, we have such a weird connection with Chicago, I think, right?